Hey, so I'm back. I'm still having problems with this camera. Uh, After 48 episodes, I still grab it the wrong way and it shuts off. So this Broadfork, broad means wide, and fork means, well, you know what a fork is. You use it to eat. Well, that's what this is. A wide fork. Like if I was going to try to eat with this, you'd be a giant, right? So this is a broad fork. And what I'm going to use this for is I'm going to use this to get down in the soil and just lift it. So the soil is a little bit compacted on our beds. Not much, because we don't drive tractors on it. We don't walk on it, except for what I'm going to do right now. The rest of the season, no one's walking on this. This bed stays nice and loose so those roots get in there. So I stick the broad fork in there and I come back and lift up the soil. Kind of see it lifting up. So whatever compaction was there, because right now I try to get my hand in the soil. I get a little bit of my fingers in there because we don't have it very compacted. But that's not good enough. I want to get it nice, lift it up, create some air, put some air in that soil so that when those roots start growing of the plants, this is going to be where the corn goes. That's popcorn, delicious popcorn goes. Those roots can get right in there and they can grow and have lots of room to be able to get around. So this is how I'm doing it now. So I'm just going through and lifting and loosening the soil. Now, I'm not going to walk on it anymore because when you walk on it, you compact the soil. So we're not going to walk on this anymore. But you can watch now, when I put my hand, I can reach right in and go way down. Whoa, oh my gosh, look how far I went down. I went down that far, right? And I brought up some really nice soil with some roots that are going to be feeding our soil animals that are in there. So that soil is nice and loose. I'll do that for the rest of the bed. Once I've loosened it, then I'm going to add what we call our fertilizer. Now we don't use chemical fertilizer, so that's stuff that's made from petroleum and oil products. What we use are all natural organic types of fertilizer. So horse manure is a great fertilizer, chicken manure is a great fertilizer. We also add in minerals like the calcium that you saw on that bed, the gypsum. We'll put in magnesium, other types of minerals that come from the earth. And then we'll also use things that are going to provide nitrogen, such as blood meal and feather meal. And blood meal is dried up blood from when they butcher animals for feed. They take the blood, and it's got a lot of good food in it, a lot of good nitrogen in it. They dry that blood up, and then the feathers, they take all the feathers from the chickens that they slaughter for people to eat the chickens. They take those feathers, that's not waste. They grind them up and dry those, and then they put that into a fertilizer, and that has a lot of nitrogen in it. And nitrogen is an element that plants love. It's like gasoline. It makes them go, 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 go. It makes them grow, grow, grow. So nitrogen is great to add into the soil, and we use blood meal and feather meal to do that. So I'll add those in there, and then for my popcorn, we'll just be able to plant those right in there, and they'll grow nice and tall, and they'll produce some delicious popcorn. But now for the tomato plants are a little bit tricky. The tomato plants we grow are a little bit tricky because we grow heirloom tomatoes. Now you know that heirloom tomatoes come in different colors because you've seen me bring them into the classroom. Remember, I brought that whole tray of different kinds of heirloom tomatoes, and they are delicious and people love them, and we sell them to lots of restaurants, and we sell them to our customers as well. But the thing about heirloom tomatoes, they don't really behave well. A hybrid tomato that you might get from a grocery store, it grows up a stalk, they tie the stalk off, it grows up a little more, they tie the stalk off, puts out arms, and has all the fruit, and it's easy. But heirloom tomatoes, when they start growing, as soon as they start growing, they start falling over. There's like no main stalk. They start growing and they fall over, and they're just falling all over the place. And when they fall all over the place, what happens is they get real packed in, and there's not enough airflow, and they get disease, and they don't grow well. Or you saw how big some of those tomatoes were that I grew. They're like this big. They're huge. They're like way over a pound each. They'll break the arms of the tomato plants. So that's no good. So heirloom tomatoes are tough to grow, but oh, they taste so good. So the way we've had to come up with a different technique from growing them so we keep them from falling over. So at first we built a fence, and we had the fence like this up and down, and then put the tomatoes inside the fence, and then we found out, oh, we fenced ourselves out from the tomatoes. We couldn't get the tomatoes because the fence was there and the tomatoes were inside and we couldn't get them. So that didn't work. And then one day Mrs. T woke up and she goes, I had a dream about what to do with the tomatoes. She said the fence needs to float in the air. And I thought, I don't know how you make a tomato fence float in the air, but we'll have to figure it out. So we did figure it out, and this is what we have here. So this is regular, what we call pig fencing, and we've taken stakes, and we have 2 different layers, and we'll add another stake in the middle yet to hold them up. And what happens is, as the tomato plant comes up, its arms go out, and then instead of the tomato plant having to hold its own weight, the fence holds it. So the fruit falls down there and we can pick it, and it holds itself up by being supported by the fence, and everybody's happy, especially me. So, because I love our heirloom tomatoes. So the way that we do this is we have to build this fence, which is quite a bit of work. But I thought I'd show you how we put the poles in. We also have, see the black lines going through there? Those are our drip lines. Those are how we irrigate, how we get water to the plants. So one of the ways that we do our, I just stepped on that. I normally just jump over. I'll jump back when I come over and see you. Normally we'll pace it out. So I'm going to use some non-unit, standard units of measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4. I told you I use this stuff on the farm. So I took 4 steps from where that was. I'll take this post, I'll put it here. And then I'm going to take this driver, this post driver right here, and then I'll pound it in. And now it's nice and sturdy. So instead of using a hammer and trying to hammer it in, that post pounder works great. So now, don't step on the bed, I got to jump over. Oh, I made it. So that's how we do that. And the tomatoes are going to be great. They're going to taste good. We're going to take care of them. Mrs. T started them in the greenhouse. She got all the plants ready, and now she's tagging off to me. I'm going to come out here as a team. She's given it to me. I got to build the fence. I got to get the beds ready. I'll put the tomatoes in. Then I tag her, and she'll make sure they all come up through the fence properly, because they might need a little help coming up through the fence. They might not necessarily come right up through that fence. Might have to, she has to kind of guide them through and tie them off as they come up through. And then once they're up through and they start to produce, then both of us will harvest them, and we'll have lots of tomatoes to eat. So that's what's going on with the farm. I hope you're having a good day. I had a great time on the Zoom call with you yesterday, and tomorrow I'll come with you with another video. It'll be on the farm. I'll be in the barn. I've got a bunch of shout outs I got to be giving out, so look forward to that. T-Birds, I miss you, and I love you, and I will see you tomorrow.